Hi, this is Delegate Bob Brink, and this is my 7th weekly report from Richmond. Last week, we took action to advance the principal work of the 2012 session, passing a budget for the next 2 fiscal years. Since the opening of the session on January 11, the House and Senate Money Committees have been analyzing the individual items contained in the budget that Governor McDonnell proposed in December. I've been involved in this process as a member of the House Appropriations Committee. The committee does its work through 10 subcommittees with specific subject area jurisdictions. I'm a member of 3 of those subcommittees: Capital Outlay, which oversees the Commonwealth's expenditures for buildings at state facilities, including our public colleges and universities; Technology Oversight and Government Activities, which is responsible for information technology, budget activities, and related areas of government; and Health and Human Resources, which covers the Commonwealth's expenditures for physical and behavioral health programs, including Medicaid, which is the second largest expenditure in the budget. On these subcommittees, we spent the first half of the session hearing from agency heads and studying the governor's proposals to increase or reduce expenditures for different programs. This resulted in the presentation of subcommittee reports on February 19th. This past Thursday, we spent a number of hours on the floor debating and voting on over 30 proposed amendments to the subcommittee budget. In the end, it passed by a vote of 79 to 21. I was one of the 79 in the majority. I certainly don't agree with everything that's in that budget. In particular, I think the governor's proposal to fund our transportation needs by shortchanging education, public safety, and other vital services is simply the wrong way to go. I hope that as the process goes on, we'll be able to correct it. There are other provisions in the House budget that are much more of an improvement. Several weeks ago, I discussed the cost of competing factor in the education budget, which compensates school systems in Northern Virginia, including Arlington and Fairfax, for the fact that the cost of living is so much higher for us than in other parts of the state. The cost of competing helps us attract and retain the best and brightest teachers and other school personnel. But in his budget, Governor McDonnell had proposed eliminating the cost of competing for our school's support personnel, clerical staff, information technology specialists, and others. The members representing Northern Virginia, Republicans and Democrats alike, worked together to restore much of what the governor had wanted to cut, and we were successful. Another important improvement came in the health care area. In his budget, Governor McDonnell had proposed making drastic cuts amounting to millions of dollars to the health care safety net, the free clinics, community health centers, and groups fighting conditions such as HIV/AIDS and sickle cell anemia that literally make the difference between life and death for tens of thousands of vulnerable Virginians who lack health insurance. Given the importance of these services, I thought those cuts were nothing short of reckless. I spoke out against them on the floor, and I worked to restore them in the Health Subcommittee. And in the end, we were successful. Normally, the budget process would work as follows. The House and Senate would each pass their versions of the budget on the same day, and a small conference committee of senators and delegates would meet to iron out the differences between the competing proposals. But this year, because the Senate is evenly divided between Republicans and Democrats, they weren't able to agree on a budget last week. So now, with our scheduled adjournment date of March 10th just a few weeks away, we have a lot of work to do to get to a final budget. Again, this is Delegate Bob Brink, and this has been my 7th report from Richmond. Please feel free to visit my website at bobbrink.org, send me an email at delegatebrink@gmail.com, like me on Facebook, or follow me on Twitter at @delbrink. I look forward to speaking with you again next week as we approach the end of the 2012 General Assembly session.